Welcome, everyone, to this deep dive. It's great to have you with us if you're looking to, really get a handle on important topics quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're digging into something quite interesting. The connection between healthy cooking and how we get around specifically using public transport.
Yeah, two things that might seem separate, but they're actually quite linked. We'll be looking at how these choices affect us personally, but also, our wider communities.
Exactly. And we're using insights from various sources that really ground these ideas in everyday life.
The goal here is really practical to give you some useful vocabulary and a clearer picture of how it all fits together.
And to make it really concrete, we'll touch on a real-world example later, the Better Days campaign. This was in a small northern European city.
Right, where they actually gave people things like free cooking classes and bus passes, a direct way to encourage these changes.
It really shows how individual actions and community health connect, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It wasn't just about free stuff. It was about empowerment, building habits.
So our mission really is to equip you with the language and understanding to see how these small everyday things, what we eat, how we travel, can genuinely contribute to a better and more sustainable life.
Okay, let's dive in then. Where should we start? Maybe with some useful phrasal verbs.
Good idea. Phrasal verbs are key for sounding natural in English, especially for daily life topics like these.
They really are. Just combining a verb with a preposition or adverb can change the meaning completely.
Okay, first one, whip up.
Mm.
This just means preparing a meal really quickly.
Right. Like, I can whip up a healthy breakfast in just 10 minutes.
Or, she whipped up a vegetable stir-fry after work. Pretty simple, implies speed and ease. Maybe think about your own routine. What could you quickly whip up?
Yeah, it combats that idea that healthy food always takes ages to prepare.
Okay.
Okay, next one. Cut out.
Ah, yes, cut out, meaning to stop consuming something.
Exactly. You might hear people say, I've cut out sugary drinks, or maybe doctors often suggest cutting out processed food.
Makes sense. It's often about removing something specific, isn't it? What's one thing someone listening might consider cutting out?
It's a good question to ask yourself. Small changes can add up. Then there's fill up on.
Right, this one's interesting. Eating a lot of one thing, often before the main meal, maybe without realizing it.
Yeah, like kids often fill up on snacks before dinner. That's a classic one.
Or the warning, don't fill up on bread, you'll miss the main dish. Have you ever caught yourself doing that, filling up on something less planned?
We probably all have at some point. It highlights that challenge of, managing habits versus actual hunger or main meals. Okay, one more in this group. Hop on.
Ah, for public transport. Just means to get on easily.
Yep, I usually hop on the bus near my house.
Or, she hopped on the subway to get to the market. Very casual, very common. How about you, listeners? Do you hop on transport regularly? Is it easy where you are?
Good point. Okay, so those are some useful phrasal verbs.
Right, very handy. Shall we move on to collocations now? Those word pairs that just sound right together in English.
Let's do it. Using collocations makes you sound much more fluent, especially on topics like health and transport. They're like natural word partnerships.
A really key one for this discussion is balanced diet.
Mm-hmm. You hear it all the time. A balanced diet includes fruits, vegetables, proteins, and greens.
Or, he improved his health by eating a more balanced diet.
Yeah.
It emphasizes variety, right? Getting all the different things you need.
Exactly. It's about the mix. Another important one is cooking from scratch.
Yes. Cooking from scratch gives you more control over what you eat. That's a big one.
It really is. And you also hear many people are returning to cooking from scratch to stay healthy. What benefits do you see in that? Control is one.
Control, definitely. Knowing exactly what's going in. Maybe cost saving, too. And some people find it quite relaxing.
Yeah, all of those. Okay, let's shift to transport. A common collocation is efficient transport system.
Right, like an efficient transport system reduces traffic and saves time.
Or thinking bigger picture. Cities need an efficient transport system to support the population. What makes a system efficient, do you think?
Well, reliability, frequency, maybe cost, how easy it is to use instead of a car, convenience, I suppose.
Good points. And that ties into our last collocation here. Active lifestyle.
hmm Walking to the bus stop is part of an active lifestyle.
Exactly. Or connecting our themes. Healthy cooking and an active lifestyle go hand in hand. How do you see that connection playing out daily?
Well, if you're more active, you might be more conscious of fueling your body well, and eating better might give you more energy to be active. It's a positive cycle.
Definitely interconnected. Okay, so we've got phrasal verbs, we've got collocations,
Yeah.
useful stuff. But learning also means, making mistakes sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. It's part of the process. Looking at common errors can be really helpful for getting things right.
Let's look at adverb placement. This trips people up. You might hear, he cooks always from scratch.
Right, but it sounds a bit off. The natural way is he always cooks from scratch. The adverb, like always or usually, generally comes before the main verb.
Exactly. Same with transport, not I ride usually the bus.
No, it should be I usually ride the bus. Adverb first.
Simple rule, but easy to forget sometimes. Another one is with comparisons, especially around health.
Ah, like saying we should eat more healthier.
Yeah, that's the one. It feels like it should be right, but it isn't quite. You'd say, we should eat more healthily, using the adverb to describe how we eat.
Or you could say we should eat healthier food, using healthier as an adjective before the noun food.
Precisely. Fixing those small points really boosts clarity and, honestly, confidence when you speak.
Definitely. Okay, so knowing the words and grammar is one thing, but how do we communicate these ideas effectively? Let's talk strategies.
Good idea. One really effective way is using personal examples. It makes things much more relatable.
Right. Instead of just saying public transport is good, maybe share something like, I take the bus every morning instead of driving, and it actually saves me quite a bit on fuel and parking.
Exactly. Or for food, maybe, in my family, we try to cook together every weekend. It's become a nice routine. Can you think of a quick personal example listeners could relate to?
Yeah, making it real is key. Another strategy. Be clear about the benefits.
Mm-hmm. Don't just say healthy meals are important. Explain why. Like, healthy meals improve my concentration and mood during the day.
Or for transport, public transport reduces my stress because I don't have to deal with traffic, plus it saves money. Which benefits really stand out for you personally? That's something listeners can consider.
Highlighting those direct advantages makes the why much clearer. And finally, making comparisons can be really powerful.
How so?
Well, like saying taking the subway is actually faster than sitting in traffic during rush hour.
Okay, yeah. Or cooking at home is often cheaper and healthier than eating out all the time. It puts the options side by side. Can listeners think of a comparison like that?
It just provides context, makes the choice clearer. These strategies help bring the ideas to life.
Definitely. Now, speaking of bringing ideas to life, let's circle back to that Better Days campaign we mentioned earlier.
Right. The city that gave out the free cooking classes and bus passes. It's a fantastic, real-world illustration of everything we've been discussing.
So what happened? Well, the outcomes were pretty impressive, weren't they?
They really were. You had parents learning to cook nutritious meals, kids trying new vegetables, which is always a win.
Absolutely. And families actually started spending more time together using public transport for outings. Plus, people reported saving money less on fuel, maybe smarter grocery shopping.
And beyond just the families, there were wider effects. Less traffic meant slightly cleaner air. People were walking more to get to the bus stops.
Restaurants even started offering healthier options.
Yeah.
Sensing the shift, it created this stronger sense of community connection.
Yeah, people met at the classes, chatted on the bus. The city actually won an award for innovation in public health and mobility because of it.
That's great. But maybe the biggest takeaway, the most significant outcome, was how these small changes supported initially, turned into lasting habits for many people.
That's the key, isn't it? It wasn't just a temporary fix. It helped embed these healthier, more sustainable choices into daily life.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, that feels like the core message. Living better, living more sustainably, it often starts small.
Exactly. Those manageable actions, cooking a healthy meal, choosing the bus or train, they really do ripple outwards.
And hopefully everyone listening now feels a bit more equipped with the vocabulary to talk about these things. Using phrases like whip up, cut out, balanced diet, efficient transport system with more confidence.
Right. You got the tools now. So maybe a final thought for everyone to consider this week.
Good idea.
Yeah.
How about this? Think about one small change, just one, related to either healthy cooking or using public transport that you could realistically try to incorporate into your routine this week.
Just one small step. What could it be for you?
We genuinely love to hear your thoughts or experiences if you feel like sharing. You can usually find ways to comment or connect with us. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive today. We hope you found it valuable.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Until our next exploration, take care.